Welcome back to this very special episode of Overdrive celebrating the legend that is Ferrari. We're at the Buddh International Circuit here in Greater Noida, and it's time to take a closer look, a much closer look, at what most people are calling the greatest mid-engine sports car ever built.
This is the 458 Italia.
Very rarely does a car have it all going for it. At the 458 Italia's launch in Frankfurt, the world's press went bonkers about everything. The stunning looks, the high-revving V8 engine, even the name, Italia. More than 3 years later, it still draws admiring glances and hushed whispers wherever it goes. That said, let's see if it can convert Bertrand the bull rider.
Now, I'm not much of a Ferrari fan. I'm not really enamored by the brand as much as I'm enamored by the Lamborghinis. But then, I was one of the first people in Overdrive to have driven the new 458. And well, this car simply blew me away. It was a fantastic introduction to the Ferrari brand. And well, it did change the way I thought about these cars and about the brand in general. But today, I'm hoping that that experience gets a lot more richer, because what I once drove in Italy is now here at the Buddh International Circuit. And I'm sure this fantastic track and this equally spectacular car are going to change a lot more things in my mind. As the successor to the mental F430, the 458 Italia had to move things forward monumentally. And to do this, Ferrari maintained a wholly scientific approach. So nothing about this car is a whim of fancy, not even the bodywork. The 458 is undistilled, 100 proof supercar. One shot of this and you're hungover forever.
There's enough of shove in this engine. Every time you upshift, you're a nice, strong, almost vicious kick in your back. This car is ferocious. This car is fast. And it's very nimble too. It's one of the things that I like about this car. It's precise, it's very sure-footed, and it's almost like a a hyper-fast go-kart.
The 458's engine is one of the few naturally aspirated engines in the world to be this amazing. In this age of turbocharged madness, the 458's V8 comes across as a revelation. You couldn't imagine a free-breathing engine would be this vicious, this aggressive, and yet so linear.
200, 210, 30, 40, and 50. Those carbon ceramic brakes really working themselves out.
The trick to making the composite brakes work effectively is to heat up the carbon in the discs. Without that, the pads won't be able to clamp down on the disc completely. Slam it into the footwell, and only then do they generate enough heat for those stop on a dime maneuvers.
The power-to-weight ratio is phenomenal, and that's what makes this car very special. It's a light car with a very powerful engine. And of course, the steering ratio is very precise. And all that comes together to make this a phenomenal package. I really wouldn't call this your everyday car. But God, how I'd love to drive one every day.
The 458 Italia is almost telepathic. Like it's got a Charles Xavier, or Jean Grey if you prefer, sitting under the hood, reading your thoughts and instructing the tires on how much and where to turn. On a racetrack, and one as smooth as the BIC, you rarely, if ever, have to go through more than a quarter turn of the steering wheel through any corner.
This car is mental. everything you ever want an exotic to be, and much, much more.
And I do want more. I want to be left alone with this car, the BIC. Not with some instructor sitting beside me and telling me where to brake and where to turn and where to accelerate. The 458 just feels born to a racetrack. Its purity as a supercar is humbling, and its abilities to do the unbelievable astonishing.
This, I have to admit, is one of the nicest, probably the best Ferrari I've ever driven. Well, actually, I haven't driven too many Ferraris at all. I haven't driven any. But then, there's a way of introducing myself to the brand. This has got to be right on top there, with all those epic drives I've done.
The 458 then is the highest iteration of Ferrari's racing DNA, distilled straight into the pipes of a road car. A razor's edge, finely tuned machine.
Well, after that, there can be no doubt that the 458 Italia is the absolute embodiment of all things Ferrari. We're going to take a break here, but coming up on the other side, things go into FF mode. And I don't mean fast forward.